to President Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to overturn the U.S. election for the presidential election. The nation's elected representatives scrambled to crouch under desks and donned gas masks, while police futilely tried to barricade the building, one of the most intense scenes ever to unfold in a seat of American political power. A woman was shot and killed inside the Capitol building, and Washington's mayor instituted an evening curfew in an attempt to contain the violence, AP reports. Tensions were already running high when lawmakers gathered for the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral college results, in which Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump 306 to 232. The president sent those tensions over the edge immediately prior by urging his supporters to march to the Capitol during an appearance at a rally outside of the White House. And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
This is Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Just different. Welcome to The Sentiment, a thought-provoking show with discussions that consist of life's experiences. We are bringing thoughts and perspectives out of captivity and isolation into spaces that promote awareness, healing, restores hope, and proclaims victory in everyday thinking and living. Come sip with me. Hello, good evening. Welcome all back to The Sentiment. It is I, Latrice Chenee, and today on The Sentiment, the title of today's episode is No Risk, No Reward. And to have this discussion, we have the honor and the pleasure of sitting and sipping with the most amazing and talented, absolutely most pleasant Erinn Renee Fleeks. Welcome, Erinn. I think you're on mute. So unmute you.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Hi.
Hello, your hair is gorgeous.
Thank you. Shout out to my friend Christina, who is not a hairstylist, but she's mine for the time being.
Well, she did an amazing job not to be a hairstylist. We're so multi-talented.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me on Rainier Avenue Radio .world this evening on The Sentiment. We are excited to have you. You are an amazing individual and you're doing some amazing things. And I thought it would be awesome to share just a glimpse into your world because there's so much there, but to share a glimpse into some of the things that you had to, and some of the challenges and things that you had to deal with in regards to your career and the choices that you made. And before we get into it, if you have any questions for Erinn, you can always call in, and the number is 206-290-8695. I believe. Don't quote me; it's on the flyer as well. And so it'll be on the screen too. So if you want to call in and ask Erinn any questions, you are most welcome to do that. And so Erinn, let's start a little bit about what you are doing right now, and then we'll kind of backtrack to your story and how you got there.
Sure. So gosh, I do so much, huh? But my recent position, which I'm most proud of, is I'm the president of business affairs for two record labels in LA, which is Legacy Music Group and Heritage Music Group. I work with Grammy Award winner, songwriter, producer, music publisher Javon Dawkins, and the Grammy Award winner, songwriter, vocal producer extraordinaire, Mr. Eric Dawkins. So I work with them. And so I'm really excited about this new role. I just got the role in October. So they offered the role to me in October, and I've been doing it ever since. So I'm excited about it. I kind of did it anyway. Javon and I worked together anyway for the last 3 years or so. But officially, I became the president of business affairs. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Before we dive in a little bit more, Erinn, what are you sipping this evening?
So I am sipping just some black tea.
Oh, I have tea as well. I'm lemon ginger.
Yes. So I don't really sip on anything other than
Yes, I have to leave that open for interpretation. It's more in regards to sipping the tea of your own life. Like, we don't come on the show, we don't gossip, but it's what are we sipping? What are we drinking on? What are we talking about? What are we discussing? What are we really getting into? And so it was more than just, the sip.
I figured it was with you.
But also the sip, what we sipping on.
Yeah, what we sipping on.
So, Erinn, I remember you've been doing this work for a while. You've been very successful at it. I remember a time where before you even took the move and took the big leap and took the risk of moving out of state, talk to us a little bit about what that journey was when you made the decision that, I think I want to move, all of that. Talk to us about some of that and how you came to the decision.
Yeah, so like you said, I've been in the entertainment industry for some time now, right? So, ever since I was 20, I would work with DJ Uncle Guy, and he would get me on the stage, and I would be doing events and doing all kinds of stuff. And then, so I've always been doing things within that realm. And then I started my entertainment company and was managing and all of that. But I was very stagnant in Seattle, and I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. And things, I ended up going to college and getting my undergrad in criminal justice or whatever. And then I ended up getting my master's in entertainment business. But how was I able to use that in Seattle? I felt like there was no, so then I decided, I actually had a conversation with Jason Fredericks, Kevin Fredericks, Kevin on Stage's brother. And he was like, you need to get out of Seattle. I don't care where you go, Erinn, just go. And so I was like, where am I going to go? But I wanted to go where I had some family and where I knew, I could thrive a little bit more. And so I decided on Houston and moved to Houston. My son and we picked up in 2017, moved to Houston. And I feel like as soon as I got here, doors were just opening. I started working with just people randomly, just people finding out that I was here and introducing me to people. And then from there, so it's kind of weird how I actually don't really work here because I work out of LA sometimes, but I end up meeting Javon Dawkins, which he lives in Seattle. He's from Tacoma, right? So a lot of times people are like, oh my God. So, and I never even knew him. I knew his mom, but not him. So got with him, and it's just am where I am today.
Yeah. So let's talk about more of the risk. How was that, knowing you were pulling your son from that as well?
Yeah.
How was that? Where were you mentally when you were like, what do you mean move? And how's this supposed to happen and why? And talk a little bit about some of the risks that you took there. And I don't mean risk in the sense of, because when you say risk, the word risk itself means that you're exposing yourself to something that's unwelcoming or harmful. But that's not always all what risk means. Risk means doing something that's unknown, yourself in a position where, yes, you may fall, but you have to take this leap. You have to take this leap of faith. And so talk to us a bit about your process there and that struggle and how you overcame it.
So the decision was easy for me. I am a risk taker. So like someone can call me and be like, even with Javon, like we're both risk takers. So, Erinn, let's invest in this. Boom, let's do it. Like we just take risks. We've been winning, but we've been taking risks. So when it came to moving here, I have a cousin that lives here, and she lives in Spring, Texas, and she says, you and DeAndre can stay here. I literally left Seattle the day after July 4th, and July 5th, I left and I came here with $900. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all I had was $900 to my name. Came down here. She welcomed us. I ended up getting some job actually working as a sign language interpreter because the Hurricane Harvey hit. So fortunately for me, because I have that background, I was able to help the deaf, and so I was making money, while I was here. And then I just started, working my way up and ended up teaching. So I taught at a performing arts college. But to kind of go back, I did take a risk. I took my son away from his father. And, now he's in Seattle, so we co-parent very well. So it worked. At first it was, a little difficult because, now I'm taking my son out of his environment, right? And putting him in a whole new environment. He doesn't know anybody here. But then everything just started coming together. And my dad moved down here with his wife, my stepmother. And so now my dad is here. So that's just amazing. And my mom lives in Little Rock. So for me, it just made sense. I'm closer to, and then my dad's here. It's just like, so God just kind of made everything come together. So I feel like this is exactly where I should have, this is exactly where I should be. I don't feel like I made a bad decision. Sometimes I feel like I should move back to Seattle just because my son is there. And so it's hard being here without him. But I mean, we make it work. I fly back there quite often. We have FaceTime and things like that. But I mean, I literally just took that chance and said, I'm gonna just take what I have and I'm gonna make it work. And my two friends, we drove down here and this is where I landed.
Yes. So how do you like Houston? How's the climate for what you're doing for entertainment? How's the climate this here?
I love Houston. So Seattle's pretty much closed down, right? Houston's not. Now that's kind of like could be a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's a good thing because I still have things going on. I have some events that I do on Fridays. Bad thing because everybody's still kicking it and go, so people get
and miss the pandemic, huh?
Right. Thank God that I have not gotten sick and I've been well or whatnot, but I love Houston. There's always something to do. There's always things going on. It's connected. I have a wonderful church home now.
Where do you attend?
I had a wonderful church home in Seattle too. So let's not talk. I love my church, both my churches. So, and actually, ironically, my first lady at the church that I was at a previous church here. My first lady here and my first lady in Seattle have the same birthday. It's kind of weird.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah,
makes it feel a little familiar.
Yeah.
Where are you worshiping at in Houston?
So it's called Greater Truth. And it's Pastor Dexter Kyle and his wife is Tara Kyle. So I love the church. It's the non-denominational church, but they have a Pentecostal background. So
yes.
yes. So I love my church. My pastor, they're super supportive. My pastor is super supportive of everything that I do. So that's a blessing. He's always praying for me and always speaking things that is going to happen, that happens. I love it. So very, very
so
happy.
It's also a prophetic house as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice. So Erinn, did you think that you were going to be instructor? Is that something that you were looking for? Tell us about how you fell into that when you said that you were an instructor.
Yes. That was the weirdest thing. I saw after the hurricane happened and, things were kind of getting back to normal, my job fizzled out because it was just on a contract position. And, I saw a post for a position as a music business instructor. And I was like, I know a little bit about music business, but I can learn what I don't know. And, so then I applied for it and it paid really well. And so I ended up being an instructor and I know I was supposed to be in Houston to do that. Like, I know my students that I was there for 2.5 years, I think. And my students, I have some great relationships with my students. One of my students is he did the recording for the new #1 Billboard song that's on everywhere called Corvette, that all the kids are listening to. So
I'm gonna have to listen. Now I'm like, I want to know what Corvette is.
Ask your kids, they know.
I'm sure.
So they recorded that song out of Javon Dawkins, my business partner studio at HMG Studios in LA, and my student actually works down there now. So he ended up doing an internship. I got him an internship down there, and then now he is an engineer, a working engineer. I'm so proud of him, Luco, doing his thing, and I'm so blessed that Javon opened his doors for him. So, so it was scary. I did not want to be a teacher, and that caused me to like have to learn the business. But I feel like they actually did, like it was a disservice to them too, because I know so much now. Because now Javon, Eric, and I co-founded founded a online academy called The Map, and so we teach music business, we teach songwriting, and so I know so much more about the music business. Like and I wish I was able to have taught those. So some of my students though have taken our seminar, and one of them is in our mentorship program. So
nice.
Yeah.
You talk about it was a little bit challenging or a little bit scary.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it would probably be the responsibility to these young people and these adults to say, oh, I have to have it together, or I need to know something. Now, you are very knowledgeable, and we're very knowledgeable, but you said that you felt like you didn't know enough at the time. Is that what you were saying?
Absolutely. I knew a little bit about the entertainment business, but not music business as I should have known. Publishing, royalties, sync license. I mean, there is so much to know. And although I was learning as I was, going and giving projects and things like that. And I also taught a resume building class and things like that. So those are the things that I know more about. But it helped me to grow in my knowledge of the industry, because
absolutely.
We were learning together, and I told my students, listen, I don't know everything. They would be asking me questions about royalties and things like that. But thank God I had, I ended up connecting with Javon early on, and so anything I needed, he actually Skyped in and taught my class, for me. So, I had people to pull on and glean from. So it turned out great. And like I said, 2 of my students ended up going to LA, ended up interning with Javon, and now working with celebrities and doing way more than
Absolutely. That's very exciting to know that you planted those seeds and then they grew, and now someone else that you're working with that has the experience and the talent and the ability to give them opportunity was able to water that, and now you're seeing the manifestation of what you There's nothing greater than that position.
It gives me chills sometimes, because I think about, I know where they started, and to see where they're at now, and to see that, I was able to help facilitate in that, and to see their growth, and then to see somebody like Javon take these 2 guys that he trusted me, because he didn't know them from Adam, right? So he trusted me and said, Erinn, I'm gonna trust you. And they went, when I say they work day and night, Luco is in the studio from sun up to sundown. He's a true engineer. Yeah, he is an engineer. Okay, and he's a producer. So he is just out there working, and celebrities just requesting him. And to see that, I'm like, hey, that is so dope to me. So
that is extremely dope.
Yeah.
Hello, if you are just now tuning in, you're listening to Latrice, Chenee, and Erinn Renee on Sentiment on Rainier Avenue Radio World, excuse me. Erinn, the map, is that an acronym for something, or is it just like the map to navigate you through? Tell me a little bit about what it is, how people access it, and what you all, if you have to have any type of requirements to enroll or anything, just tell us about it. Sounds interesting.
So the map was originally created, like I said, with Javon, Eric, and I, and we also had a component. So it's music, arts, and production, or music, acting, and production could go. And the acting came in was Javon owns a film company. And then also we had another actor, Darius McCrary, who was with House Family Matters.
Family Matters, yeah.
Matters. So he was a part of it originally, and then he ended up having some obligations and things like that. And so we still kept the map. And of course, it's like, to help navigate those that are in the industry. But the MAP is essentially a music business, songwriting, online virtual academy where we had students. We had a season 1 and season 2 where students came and they learned. Season 1 got a bulk of everything because it was an 8-week intensive course that they got.
Oh, wow.
So they were with Javon 2 days a week and with Eric 2 days a week. So 8 weeks for four days a week, they were immersed in music business and songwriting, depending on which class they took. Some took both. Majority of them took both. So it was great. And now we have a mentorship program. So we finished season 1, we finished season 2. Now we have a mentorship program because they want to keep going. Javon and Eric provide so many opportunities for them to get sync placements and things like that. And so,
Nice.
So if anybody's interested, they can go to therealmapjourney.com, and we still have some spots for our mentorship program, but basically it's a 6-month commitment, and all you have to do is just really be committed. If you want to be in the industry, you want to be in the music industry, you want to learn more about music business. I mean, Javon is an expert, so he's breaking it down. Eric Dawkins has written for everybody in the industry, so the songwriting component, vocal production. So we have students from all over who are participating. So we're excited about it, and it's growing. We developed it during COVID. Javon and I sat down and talked about it, and he's been wanting to do it for years, but we talked about it and we were like, we're going to do it as soon as COVID hit. And so
that's exciting. So is there a specific, what's the typical age demographic that you see that's interested? Because, I have had conversations with a lot of people, and the concern is that people have so much on the inside of them, self included. There's some things that I would have to talk to you about offline.
Absolutely.
I'm not ready to put it out there yet, but let's just say I'm a writer, okay?
Yes.
And there's people that have done this for years, and they're older, and they feel like, this industry is for the young people. What would you tell them?
This is what I would say. I am just now 42, right? I'm 42 years old, and I'm just now, you look good. I'm just now living my dream, so to speak. I'm just now walking into what I've always wanted to do, what God has always put before me. So I always tell people, like, don't think that you're too old to pursue your dream. Like I said, I'm 42. So just because you weren't, you're not seeing it yet, don't stop. I never stopped. What if I would have stopped?
Right.
What if I would have, what if I was just like, I'm done? I would have never met Javon. I would have never been in this, I'm on calls with people that you would have no idea. I'm doing things. I mean, it's crazy. At video shoots, I'm traveling here, I'm traveling there. Those are things I've always wanted to do. But if I would have quit, if I would have been like, I'm too old, then I would have never, I would have never gotten those opportunities or, be the president of business affairs. Like, that's major, So, I would never say that you're too old to do anything. And the demographic usually for ours is between the ages of 18. And we have some that are in their late 40s, early 50s that have said, listen, I have wanted to do this and here's my opportunity. And there isn't a platform where you're live and direct with Grammy Award winning producers and singers, right? I mean, Eric Dawkins, right? So they both, Javon and Eric, are both taking their time, and there's no platform out there where you're getting that one-on. We're live on Zoom, laughing and clowning and asking. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So you hear her saying it here. The entertainment industry. Do not be afraid, no matter how old you are. And I'm not certain where that stigma came from. Like, oh, you're too young, you're too old to act.
I think
you're too old to, the music
when you're younger, I think in the singing world, right? You look at the the people who are dropping albums, and they kind of cater to the younger, the Megan Thee Stallions, or those that are generally younger, because she's quite young or whatnot. And so people feel like they can't do it. But I mean, I'm looking at people who are coming out later on in life, and they're able to do it. It's just a matter of your team. Who do you have behind you? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to invest in yourself? And I think that's one of the things I see, that some people kind of think that it's supposed to come to them. Well, the music industry is not like that anymore. They ain't coming to you. You got to invest in yourself. And they got to see that, you got a fan base. This is what you want. And then they'll start putting money into you. But if you're not putting money into you, they're not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are some tips that you can give someone who's trying to do what you're doing? Talk a little bit about what you do too as the manager, the production manager.
As the business affairs, president of business affairs.
Business
production.
President. Talk about what that role looks like, and then share some of the tools or resources that you may have for people who want to get into that, or just into the music business period, and where they should start.
Yeah. So my role, generally, I take care of like any type of contract. So if we sign a new artist, like we signed Shantae Moore, right? So if we I take care of the contracts, things like that. I work hand in hand with the lawyers. I work closely with Eric as well with A&R. So I kind of do A&R, a little bit of A&R, which is what I've always wanted to do. Right. So that's really what I wanted to do. So I work closely with Eric and Javon. And since we're a small label, I kind of do quite a bit. Right. So other companies, my business affairs might just be, legal type stuff, or, contracts and things like that. But I kind of take on a few more roles just because we're a little bit smaller, and I just handle pretty much a lot of the business behind the scenes. If there's a video shoot and I need to get licensing, or I need to put everything together, so put my event planning skills together and all of that kind of stuff, get all the components together as well. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Your role is major and important. It can't happen if you're not on your game. So
right. And Javon is good because I had some big shoes to fill, because the person who was before me was at Universal for years, 30 years, and then he worked there, and then now I'm taking the role on. But Javon is one of those type of people, like, if I don't know it, he's going to make sure I know it. He's going to train me. He's going to, and even with A&R and that kind of thing, we on the phone, we breaking down songs, we talking about the album and, what's good, what's bad. This is what you need to look for as an A&R. So I'm loving it. I'm excited about it. And I'll just tell somebody that, find a mentor. Don't be afraid to reach out either. I think a lot of times people feel like people are untouchable. Where's COVID now? So everybody, everybody's obtainable. So reach out to somebody who's doing what you want to do, and start to, Javon is 11 years younger than me. So think about that. And he's like my big brother, so to speak, in the business. And I'm the older person, I'm older, but he's so knowledgeable. So it's just, find a mentor and don't give up. That's what I would say.
I know that's right. Erinn, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us this evening, and talk a little bit about what you do. I appreciate you empowering the people to just go for it, pursue their dreams, and just move into what they've always wanted to do. I'm so proud of you. You are amazing. I'm so excited that you're walking in your purpose, and that you're doing something that you intentionally set out to do, and that God placed on the inside of you to do. And that brings me much joy. And so congratulations. This will not be the end of our discussion. We will either have to do a lot, or we'll have to bring you back on. Happy New Year to you. Much success to you in your future endeavors. And we'll connect again soon.
Thank you for having me.
You're absolutely most welcome. You have been listening to The Sentiment on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and you will next be hearing the sounds of Rainier Avenue Radio News. And also, if you are looking for something to do to get into service, or just to take in the MLK holiday, please make certain to tune in to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. The march and the rally is happening on this coming Monday, and it starts at 11 a.m. So if you tune into the website, and tune into the Rainier Avenue Radio.news. Next, we'll hear a little bit more about that event on Monday. Take care. Until next time.
It's just different.
Thank you for listening to The Sentiment. Please join me next time with the next topic and the next guest that graces us with their presence. In the meantime, be blessed and be gracious and kind to yourself and others. Mwah. Mwah.